We're going to get started here. My name is Mark with Summit Alliance Advantage. If you haven't spoken with me or heard from me recently, I'll put my contact information up here at the end so you can give us a call or email us. And then I'm here with my partner, Ray. He does all the training, and I do a lot of the webinars, so we switch sometimes. But we've got Mr. Michael Frahm from Royal Neighbors presenting their wonderful products. His face is up there on the screen there. So if anybody has any questions, we're going to do a Q&A at the end. Or, of course, again, you can go ahead and email us. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Michael Frahm.
Thank you, Mark. This is something unique and different, I like to say on here. And one of the things about Royal Neighbors, too, we've been around since 1895, but it was captive for a lot of years instead. But just in the last, just shy of 10 years, they started switching. They stopped doing captive and went independent. And we only have a certain limited number of agencies, IMOs that we deal with. And Summit Alliance is one of those organizations. So that's the thing. If you want to go ahead and sell Royal Neighbors, Summit Alliance is going to be the one that we trust in that respect. We have a great relationship, and I just really enjoy working with these folks. I'm your regional sales executive, so I travel every week, so we also have our sales support department that are there for you too. But the unique thing is that I started selling fraternal life insurance 23 years ago. And that's the thing about Royal Neighbors being a fraternal, it's going to set you apart. So you're going to be able to eliminate your competition. People aren't going to say they want to shop around, so you have one appointment closes. You're going to have high persistency. I'm going to hit a slide here in a moment just to go ahead and let you know what I mean by that. But my persistency was like 98%. It's hard to get 100%. Something happens and somebody's going to fall off. But additionally, on their referrals, I was able to, instead of purchasing leads, I was able to work referrals off of selling fraternal life insurance. That saves about, I guess, a mail drops about $400, $500 a week. So that saves about $2,000 a month potentially. But you get red hot leads on there with referrals on it. I made $1 Million Roundtable. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just selling fraternal life insurance, asked for referrals, and it was just fantastic. So let me share that with you here for a moment, and then we're going to jump into the presentation with two fantastic products. First thing I want to mention is that as a fraternal, Royal Neighbors is a not-for-profit life insurance organization. So this you can bring up to your clients, and that you work for a not-for-profit life insurance organization, royalneighbors.org. So what that means to them, because they're going to want to know what's in it for them, we do not pay our profits out to stockholders like all these other stock insurance companies. All the profits go to stockholders. With us, it goes back to your client. So you're going to see better rates of returns, better premiums, better process, better benefits on there too, and a bunch of free stuff. Number 2 hits that. We provide your clients money-saving benefits, and these are what we refer to as member benefits because every client also becomes a member. And uniquely with Royal Neighbors, you as a writing agent with Royal Neighbors and your entire family can get all this free stuff. Everything from a free will from a bar certified attorney. I'm going to hit this in the next slide for you. Additionally, vision, dental, prescription drugs. The third bullet point, we're a socially conscious organization. So since 1895, we don't pay corporate taxes to the IRS. Instead, we can take that money and help out local communities and individuals through our volunteer networks. And we have volunteer chapters throughout the nation. But we also have additional programs that we have. We have some for seed money, $200. I'll give you, for example, years ago when I was selling fraternal life insurance, I'm based out of our secondary office in Arizona. There's a small rural community called Arizona City, and they needed money to pay for paintbrushes and paint. They wanted to fix up their local park. Well, Royal Neighbors can provide that money, give them a check for $200, and also T-shirts on top of it. All they have to do is provide volunteers. We also have another program called Nation Neighbors, which is a $10,000 grant program. And we give 10 of those checks away to individuals in the local community that are doing great things. And our fourth bullet point, We're one of the largest women-led financial service organizations in the country. Way back in 1895, women could not vote, they couldn't own real estate, and when their husband died, they more or less became destitute. So 9 women came together and created Royal Neighbors, and we were one of the first insurers of women and children. And our president CEO has always been female. So what's this mean to you in 2018? Well, as you know, every day 10,000 people are turning 65. And actuarially, as a life insurance agent, you also know that, hey, the women are going to outlive the men. So with this huge baby boom generation, we're going to have an influx of widows coming up. Well, Royal Neighbors has been helping widows since 1895, and you're Royal Neighbors. Here's a look at those free member benefits. Now, we actually send out a booklet, I'm going to show you that in the next slide, with every single policy certificate. So in the fraternal world, we call a policy a certificate, so that's what I mean by policy. But this is also available to you as a writing agent and your entire family. For example, dental and vision, these are our most 2 utilized benefits. I've had agents tell me that they save $150 or $250 on eyeglasses, or even got the eye exam for free. Prescription drug discounts on this, again, for your clients and also yourself and your family. Up to 85% off on generic drugs. And then on the bottom left-hand corner, I mentioned about legal services. We have actually over 18,000 attorneys in there. And every single one of your clients can get a free simple will with free annual updates. That's like, what, a $750 savings. That's free. Now, if you have a local attorney that's not in the network, all they have to do is call the 800 number in the booklet I'm going to show you with the next slide, and they can be added to it. That quick and easy. We also have cashback online shopping, and then access over 100,000 different discount programs. If your client registers online, they can actually get emails on this. Everything from coupons to discounts on new or used vehicles, entertainment discounts from Disney World, Six Flags, all those different things. Also, I also like to mention this because I look at the marketplace on final expense. Well, it's typically seniors that take out that are retired and they go to the movies. So they can get discounted movie tickets every week additionally on top of that. So there's a lot of great things that they can get. And again, this is all value added. This is free stuff. All they have to do is take out a policy with us. There's no minimums or anything. Here's that booklet that we sent out, again, with every policy that we issue out there. And in that booklet, it's 8.5 by 11. Each page has those different benefits I mentioned and then some. And then we put a welcome letter on there with peel-off member benefit cards. So if you're already contracted with Royal Neighbors, you should have those. If you need them, get a hold of our sales support folks. We can send you more for everybody that's a household member. And that booklet is also available on our agent website. So when you go to supply orders, well, you can order them, we'll send them out to you, or you can download it if you wish. But that's a nice presentation piece. I'd say, show them the table of contents, tell them all the free stuff they're going to get just for purchasing life insurance with you. Here's a quick look at our products portfolio. We have the final expense. I'm going to cover that in detail for you, but it's issued 2 different ways. It can be standard, or somebody in lesser health can possibly get the graded death benefit. And then I'm also going to cover the essential whole life. This is adult and juvenile whole life, starts at $25,000 where the final expense ends, goes up to infinity. If you do a single premium whole life, take a look at our Royal Legacy. It's a market leader out there. And then also universal life, in particular, the UL cash value product. That's a market leader also, along with, if you do mortgage protection on there or income replacement, Jet Term. Jet Term is one of those simplified issue, point of sale up to potentially $500,000 approval products. Now, we do have a cash contest going on. This is the equivalent of an 8% commission bonus on top of your current commission. It runs for all issued business from March 1st to May 31st. And you can see that the minimum level is $300,000 annualized premium. I mean, that's probably like 3 final expense policies. But it not only covers final expense, but also our term insurance. So at the end of that time, we're going to pay you out the cash. Like I said, when you look at it, it's the equivalent of receiving an 8% commission bonus. And on top of that, we have an agent sales trip. We're going to, for this year's production, next year then we'll be going to Hawaii, to the island of Kauai at the Grand Hyatt. The nice thing about this, it is very, very attainable. At 80,000 production amount, we do not put a cap on it like like some of those other insurance companies do. We take anybody who qualifies on it. We're not just going to take just a certain amount like certain other carriers I know of. Now, if you look at the bullet points, that essential whole life I'm going to cover today, and then also our term insurance along with the universal life, you should get 120% conference credits. So it's not even a full 80,000 on those products. Single premium whole life, 20%. Everybody else is they're only giving 10%. Not at royalnavy.org, we're giving 20. And then with the final expense, dollar for dollar, 100% right on there for you. Okay, running quotes, a couple different ways you can do it. You can go to www.rnaquickquote.org. Remember, it's .org because we're not for profit, not .com. But RNA like Royal Neighbors of America. Or better yet, download our mobile app. If you have an Android or Apple mobile app device, you can go to agentapps.royalneighbors.org. And in that regards, you can also check the status of your pending business on there. If you have any questions, you just hit one button, you can email them, hit another link, and you can speed dial them and go right to our underwriting department, new business. Now, the final expense product. This is, in my opinion, one of the most user-friendly products in the final expense industry. I always like to say in the beginning that Royal Neighbors is currently not contracted to do business in Alaska, Alabama, Hawaii, Louisiana, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and New York. Now, with this one, you do the quote on your phone, you hit speed dial, and that's it. This is a point of sale tele-interview with voice signature. This is different. This is paperless. There's no e-app on this, no emailing on it. All you do is hit the phone. I've literally done training with agents who got their life insurance license the day before. They were able to go out after the training and do business on this, be the very first policy they ever did. I mean, all they have to do is quote the premium, hit speed dial. The person on the other end of the line does everything for you. And typically within 15 minutes only, it's done. You're going to get an answer right then and there. What happens then after you hang up the phone? They tell you it's approved. You hang up the phone. The person that you call was actually typing in the information, and that's fed directly into, straight through processing, the Royal Neighbors computer. And there's a recording on there too. That's where we obtain the voice signature. This is unique and different. There's nothing to be signed. It's done with their voice. So they're going to ask your client if they would state their name and that they understand they're signing with their voice. The same thing with you as the agent in that respect. So they send that to Royal Neighbors also. The next business day, you could even have the draft date 45 days out, or the second, third, and fourth Wednesday. I'm going to hit that a little bit later on. I'm getting ahead of myself. But we actually kick out the policy, EFT your commission to you, send out the member benefits, that free stuff out there with their policy additionally, and it's a done deal on there. And then we draft in the future where it's actually issued. But you get paid the next business day typically. Now, as I mentioned on the bullet points here, no paper application to submit. We do have an agent worksheet. I'm going to show you that. This makes it a little easier for you if you want to gather information ahead of time, like bank information, things like that, beneficiaries. And there was an important information document. It does not need to be signed. We don't want to send it to the home office. It's just that it discloses that we're going to be running the MIB, this Medical Information Bureau, the prescription drug check, and the motor vehicle report while the tele-interviewers actually asking the 9 medical questions. I'm going to show you those medical questions in a bit here. Now, the interviewers are available Monday through Friday Central Time, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then also Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that's the nice thing about it. If it's outside hours, we'll just schedule a call with them if you wish during that period of time. Now, with the important information document, if it's a replacement, only in non-NAIC states, just like California and Florida and such, Georgia, but the overwhelming majority, they actually do the replacements over the phone for you too. They can. They will. Okay, here's that voice signature worksheet. Now, additionally on this too, you're going to see on the bottom right-hand side, you can have the draft date the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Wednesday of the month. Well, that's important, as you probably know, because if their birthday's between the 1st and the 10th, and they're getting Social Security, what's deposited the 2nd Wednesday of the month? 11th through the 20th, it's the 3rd, 21st to 31st, it's the 4th Wednesday of the month. So your persistency is going to stay high. You won't have NSFs and such. So when that check goes in, we draft it that same date for you. Here's a look at their important information document. All you have to do is give them a hard copy or send them an email beforehand, because during the interview, they're just going to ask your applicant if they received and understand this. That way it gives us, the interviewer for Royal Neighbors, the authorization by voice signature to run that MIB, prescription drug check, and motor vehicle report. Now, in certain circumstances, we do have a paper application. So if it's outside of those hours, you could use the paper application. Well, what I would recommend is you just go ahead and schedule an appointment the next business day, that is, do a 3-way call, and you're done. But otherwise, if you do a paper application, for example, if you need a translator, or if the owner, insured, and applicant are not all the same person, then with the paper application process, you just complete it, have the applicant sign it, fax, mail, or email it to Royal Neighbors. Once Royal Neighbors receives the application, then Royal Neighbors will call your applicant for the interview. You don't have to be present. And if approved, Royal Neighbors will issue the certificate right then and there on your behalf. Overwhelmingly, well over 90% of all our applications are the paperless voice signature one I mentioned. But we do have this for you additionally. Now, the product specs on this. Issue ages 50 to 85. Now, I mentioned the next product I'm going to cover for you is the Essential Whole Life. So if you have anybody that's under 50 years old, you can use that product. So with the final expense, 50 to 85, age, last birthday, tobacco, non-tobacco, it's a simple yes or no health questionnaire. And again, like I mentioned, point of sale, simplified issue approval. Typically, before you hang up the phone, you're going to know if it's approved right then and there. Once you hang up the phone, it should be a done deal. No scrubbing of apps, nothing like that. And the person on the other end of the line does all the heavy lifting for you. Now, the standard issue we refer to as a simplified issue whole life is face amounts $5,000 to $25,000, full death benefit. Now, if somebody's in lesser health, we do have a graded death benefit option. This is for death benefit amounts of $5,000 to $10,000, and the way it works, this is not a guaranteed issue. So it's not just that they're not going to just receive their premiums back and small little interest possibly. This is actually in the first year, if the applicant should die, the beneficiaries would receive 30% of the face amount, the death benefit. And if it's in the second year, 70% of the death benefit, and thereafter. So in years 3 and thereafter, 100% of the death benefit would go to the beneficiaries. Now, if they should die accidentally, then from day 1, 100% of the death benefit is paid to the beneficiaries. So because we're taking somebody at Royal Neighbors, that applicant with lesser health, we're just hedging it in the first 2 years. Here's a look at the medical questions. Now, the first question is tobacco use. I want to pull something very important out of these questions on here. There is no height and weight question. We, for our final expense product, do not have a build chart. So unlike other final expense carriers out there, just because somebody doesn't fit in their build chart, it doesn't mean they're not healthy. So we don't go ahead and ask height and weight. Now, if you question 4B, for example, is another one that a lot of agents tell me on here is a standout. It says taken insulin shots prior to age 30. Typically out there in the industry, you see with other final expense carriers, it's age 50. Well, we're more, I don't want to say lenient, I want to say common sense at age 30. The way this works, if questions 2 through 9 are all no's, then it's the standard issue. If question 8 or 9 is a yes, then it's the graded death benefit. Now, if you look, the look back period on there is typically 18 months and then 24 months on there with a graded. And at Royal Neighbors, we don't have a drug knockout list, but the closest thing that we have is just for our final expense product, a prescription indicator list. This way, if you want to do any field underwriting, you get an idea possibly how it's going to come out. So if it's going to be, say, for example, standard issue or graded or possibly declined at that time. Now, we also have an accelerated living benefit rider. I just want to mention it is not available in Delaware, Indiana, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, South Carolina, Vermont, or Washington. But in all other states, for the final expense, the way it works is that it covers terminal conditions like terminal illness or terminal injury, or permanent nursing home confinement. There's no additional premium to this. All you have to do is just tell them over the phone that you want it, or paper app, check the box. It pays out for those qualifying triggering events up to 75% of the death benefit as a lump sum. Now, the minimum death benefit amount has to be $7,000 on there because the minimum payout is $5,000. That's 75%. So as long as you write the policy for $7,000 or more, they can get this at no additional charge. And for those qualifying events, up to 75% of that death benefit paid out as a lump sum. Here's a quick example I always like to go through. It's got a little twist at the end too. Sue's a 65-year-old non-smoker. You pre-qualify her, determine that she needs $10,000 for final expenses. So you do the quick quote for the standard issue at $44.61. You hit speed dial, and it's approved in 15 minutes. Nothing more needs to be done. Now, remember, she's now a member of Royal Neighbors, a policyholder. So she saved $600 on hearing aids for her husband. Let's assume her husband never even took out a policy with Royal Neighbors, but because he's a household member, he also gets a member benefit card that you see there on the left. They also use the legal services to get that free simple will with free annual updates. And she used her member benefit cards for prescription drugs, vision, dental discounts. I mean, there's a whole lot of retail discounts are phenomenal. So there's the big difference. And like I mentioned, persistency-wise, even if you had somebody come in for a buck or two cheaper in some future competitive situation, well, they're giving up a heck of a lot. Just the movie ticket discounts alone were probably more than make up than that. So persistency's high, referrals are fantastic. You can order those books, bring them along there, and say, who else can I help out? This is a not-for-profit fraternal benefit life insurance organization since 1895. Now, the next product I wanted to cover for you is our Essential Whole Life. As you know, like I mentioned, it's not available in Alaska, Alabama, Hawaii, Louisiana, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, just like all our other products. Those are only states that they're not available in. But this one starts at $25,000. You can see the issue ages on it are 18 to 85. So if you have somebody less than 50 years old, you can't do final expense, but you can do this. Now, $25,000 starting and goes up to infinity. There's two things I want to pull out of this. This product is phenomenal. I had somebody in Detroit requested an illustration for $5 million on this. I went up there and saw them. They told me that it was, the premium was $38,000 a year less than the competition. And these are the ones with the high rises, you know, buildings, corporate buildings in San Francisco and New York City, and do the ads on TV, radio, and whatever. We just blew them out of the water at ruralneighbors.org. Now, the other thing I want to mention, and this is something that I saw when I first, many years ago, came on with Rural Neighbors, $25,000. This is standard issue with our Essential Whole Life. It's going to blow away everybody else in the final expense industry. In the next slide, I'm going to show you that. There's also an accelerated and benefit rider. It's even better than the final expense one. It covers critical, chronic, and terminal illness. I'm going to show you that on the slide additionally. So let me jump right into that. If you do a comparison of a 65-year-old non-tobacco standard issue, $25,000 for a female will be $87.13. Now compare that to other carriers' final expense policy at $25,000, and they're going to come out like $105 a month, roughly. A male at $107.38 compared to about $140 to $145 with other final expense carriers. So my recommendation, besides bringing just that app, bringing the paper state replacement forms also. Now this is standard issue, and the reason why it does so well, not just only because they're stock insurance companies possibly, and we're ruralneighbors.org, but this is standard issue. Final expense is figured in the table 4 underwriting rating. So everybody gets bunched in there. Where with this, you don't have that problem, and that's why it's a blow-away product out there, and starting at $25,000. Now, a couple things I want to mention. We do offer super preferred and preferred for $250,000 and higher in death benefit, but look where it says substandard. So beginning at $25,000 standard issue, I gave you the premiums on it, but we can also go down to table 10. Somebody can be pretty unhealthy and get a table 10 rating. So if you had somebody, for example, that was declined for final expense with another carrier, you can see in the bottom there, I have on there a risk assessment department's phone number, extension 4370. Call them up, tell them, hey, this is the problem with the applicant. How's it going to work out? Maybe they get a table 6 or table 8 or table 10 rating on there and still get the $25,000 or more policy. So there's another opportunity for business that was potentially lost for you. But this is great that, hey, it's standard issue, you blow away the competition, and you also can go down to table 10 on this. The minimum death benefit, though, face amount is $25,000, and that's where the final expense ends at. Now, we do have non-medical underwriting, and that means no pyramid exam, blood or urine testing, but this is a paper application process. I also like to say with this one, think of it as a fully underwritten down there with these exceptions. Ages 18 to 50, just shy of $250,000. Ages 51 to 65, just shy of $50,000. So above and beyond those dollar amounts and those ages, like 65, then it's going to be different. Then you're going to do kind of like traditional underwriting. Well, that's how you beat out everybody else. You're going to go to Flesh and Blood Royal Neighbors Underwriter using common sense on here. So I'll give you a quick example. The drug levodopa. Levodopa is a knockout drug out there traditionally with everybody else because of Parkinson's disease. But I have a neighbor right here in Arizona that's taken levodopa for restless leg syndrome. With them, he'd be a decline. With us, all things considered, he could be standard issue. Common sense underwriting with Royal Neighbors. Here's that accelerated benefit rider that I mentioned. Now this, you can see on the very top there that it's available on our Essential Whole Life, our Universal Life, and our Single Premium Whole Life. The final expense and term have that one that I mentioned previously. But with this one, with the Essential Whole Life product that we're talking about, critical, chronic, and terminal illness. And this is a market leader that's out there auditioning. Look down the first column with critical illness. No monthly charge. All you have to do is check it off on your paper application. Now check your state availability. I know that it is currently not available in California. California has, with Essential Whole Life, they have to use the same one that they use with final expense and term. But I believe possibly the remainder of the states, and double check it, but this should be available for you. Critical illness, maximum benefit is 25% of the death benefit up to $100,000. Now the competition out there brag at $25,000. We go at $100,000. You can see that's for life-threatening cancer, heart attack, stroke, paralysis, end-stage renal failure, or more major organ transplant. And that's paid out as a lump sum additionally. Chronic illness, no monthly charge, just check the application. 80% of the death benefit up to $400,000. Now look at the qualifying events, the triggering events on this. 2 or more activities of daily living. You may be familiar with that from long-term care, for example, uses similar wording on there. But you can see where it says or, and we capitalize it and put it in bold for a reason, cognitive impairment. This is huge. So if you're sitting across the table from Hank and Mabel and you talk about this and you say cognitive impairment, it may go right over their head. So you may want to say is possibly, for example, Alzheimer's disease or dementia. That's on their mind on there because the chances are they know somebody about it that has cognitive impairment, such as Alzheimer's disease or dementia. So that's huge that our chronic illness additionally covers cognitive impairment. Terminal illness on that column there, 90% of the death benefit up to $450,000. And this is a standout that there's no required confinement to nursing home and no waiting period. Now with those, I'm going to pick on those stock insurance companies again. These usually have like a 90 or $120-day waiting period. Again, at ruralneighbors.org, no waiting period. They need the cash. They don't have to wait months and eat cat food in the meanwhile. Excuse me for saying that. All right, Essential Whole Life also has a juvenile policy. Now with our youth Essential Whole Life, compare the premiums on this. It's just phenomenal. This makes the child a full-fledged Royal Neighbors member. They also get that critical, chronic, and terminal illness on this policy. And as a member, they could potentially be eligible if they qualify for our scholarship programs. We have a lot of different scholarship programs out there too. So minimum face amount is $10,000. It can be level pay or 20 pay. The thing I want to mention, go with the 20 pay option. The premiums only are a little bit higher, but when the kids get it, well, the nice thing is, and I'll give you a for example on it. When I was born, my parents went ahead and gave me a whole life policy. When I got old enough, they turned it over to me. I looked at that and I said, I make premium payments on this. And then I saw the cash value. Well, what do you think I did? I cashed it out. I turned around, got married when I was 23. I just buy life insurance all over again at a higher premium amount. So with this, the 20 pay life won't be that much more. And when the kids eventually get it, hopefully by that time, it's going to be paid up. So you won't have to go ahead and make my mistake again. Optional riders, disability waiver of premium, accidental death, and guaranteed insurability rider. So first thing is to get contracted through Summit Alliance, but then our sales support folks, I just want to mention this, they're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. You can leave a voicemail for them after hours. They'll get back to you as soon as possible, or send them an email at salessupport@ruralneighbors.org. And we also have the agent website. Once you become contracted, you just go to agent.ruralneighbors.org, and you can get forms and supplies. Remember I mentioned the member benefits brochure you can order on there, additional training videos, a whole lot of things in that respect. So at this time, Mark, I'm going to turn it back to you, and then we can go and answer any questions, and you can give them the information for Summit Alliance so that they can go through the contracting process for you.
All righty, let me get my screen switched over here.
And while you're doing that, I'll mention a couple of things on there. Remember those free member benefits on there. That's a great opportunity to ask for referrals. It's a standout for your clients. Plus the story that we're a not-for-profit. We don't give our money out to the stockholders. It goes back to your clients.
Okay, there we go. So the screen up in front of everyone is our contact information. Again, my name is Mark. Thank you, Mr. Frahm, for doing the presentation. It was very informative. We appreciate it. Just wanted to thank everyone for joining us. Some of you folks may be contracted with us, some may not be. Again, we're just putting this information out there for those that want to know more about Rural Neighbors, or who are not, who are curious about either getting into the final expense program or currently have other contracts and want to see what the difference with Rural Neighbors are. They're very easy to get a hold of. Great information on the back office. We just did a little piece on them on our last sales call on Thursday. Very easy to utilize their tools that they have available to you. This meeting will be recorded and sent out to everyone. So please write down our information. If you have any questions on the product, reach out to Ray. If you have any questions on getting contracted, or if you already are contracted, reach out to myself. Our numbers are on there. Now, let me just ask if anybody has any questions at all, and I'll go ahead and unmute everyone. Any questions at all? Okay, I'm not sure if there are any. If not, we're going to go ahead and end this meeting. And again, feel free to reach out to us, take a look at the recording that you'll be getting, send us any questions that you might have. Again, thank you for joining us. Everyone, have a great day.